Deep dives and blue skies. Welcome back to Talking Blue with Nick, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Blue, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. I'll be your host, Nick, and today is a very exciting day because we are previewing the Dodgers-Padres series. This is episode 29. We're going to preview that series. It's always exciting when those two teams match up. So, as always, you can get this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow us on social media at Talking Blue Pod. You can follow my personal X at Talking Blue Nick. Follow us on Reddit at competitive-week8715. Have some more reels coming out, YouTube shorts, TikToks, and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. Probably the best rivalry in baseball right now. Every time the teams match up, it's an exciting game. They always get up to play each other, especially the Padres. They love to play the Dodgers. The fans are always really into it. A lot of trash talking. So let's break down the Padres. So the Padres are 37-27, second place in the National League West, one game behind the Dodgers. Offensively, the Padres are 15th in baseball in batting average, 19th in on-base percentage, and 23rd in slugging percentage. They have the lowest hard hit percentage in base, the second lowest barrel percentage, and the third highest chase percentage. So, not a lot of great offensive stats. They don't hit the ball hard at all, and they also chase a lot. The one thing they do well offensively is they don't swing and miss. They have the fifth lowest whiff percentage and the third lowest K percentage. So, of course, guys like Luis Ariz, Machado doesn't strike out too much, Jackson Merrill, Cronenworth. So they have a lot of guys that put the ball in play, but they don't hit for much power. They don't get on base a lot. They don't hit the ball hard at all. And they are an aggressive team that does chase. On the pitching side, like I said, they are much better. They have a team ERA of 3.45, which is sixth in all of baseball. They have the fourth lowest batting average against and the fifth lowest slugging percentage against. They also have an elite bullpen. Their ERA in the bullpen is 3.03, which is third in all of baseball. So on the pitching side, much better. Good starting rotation, even with some of their injuries. And they have one of the best bullpens in baseball. Of course, Robert Suarez is a really good reliever. Jason Adam, who they traded for last year. They have a lot of really good mix and match guys. I think it's Adrian Morejon, the left-hander. Matsui, another left-hander, who I believe is Korean. A bunch of other guys, too. A lot of guys who throw very hard. They have that one reliever, the nasty splitter. His name is blanking me right now. Mexican reliever. Can't think of his name right now, but he is nasty as well. All right, so let's get into how the Dodgers match up in Game 1. So Game 1 is going to be Dustin May versus Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta has been really good for the Padres this year. Has come back to earth a little bit as of late. He had one of the better ERAs in baseball to start the year. His ERA right now is at 3.16. So Nick Pivetta, strikeout pitcher. He's a right-hander. Something about Nick Pivetta is he's one of the best pitchers in baseball when it comes to induced vertical break. We've talked about that before. Alex Vesia has the best fastball in baseball when it comes to induced vertical break. Nick Pivetta is in the top 10 as well. He has a very good four-seam fastball. And the numbers against that pitch, a 194 batting average against his four-seam fastball. And it's got a 26% whiff percentage. So he has a very good four-seam fastball. So Nick Pivetta, right-handers actually hit him better at 214 than left-handers. He's better against lefties. That's probably because he throws a lot of curveballs as well. He's got a curveball that's got a batting average against of 214. He also has a sweeper that has a batting average against of 158, and then a cutter at 273. So he's got a lot of good pitches. He pitches up in the zone. That's his best pitch, is the four-seam fastball upstairs. That's the pitch that you'll see a lot against the Dodgers. Now, they have been better against fastballs the last month and against velocity. And when it comes to curveballs and stuff like that, they have guys like Will Smith, who's been very good against curveballs. Andy Pa has as well. So against Pivetta, Michael Conforto and Shohei Ohtani both have 2 home runs against him in their careers. Freddie also has 1, and then Freddie Freeman has the most familiarity with Nick Pivetta, and Freddie Freeman has a .333 batting average against Pivetta, so he sees him very well. So in this game, I'm going to pick Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernandez as my 2 home run picks. So Freddie Freeman is obviously a very good fastball hitter, and he has some of the best numbers against Nick Pivetta. And then I'm picking Teoscar strictly because I'm picking him to break out. He's a very good fastball hitter. Like I said, Pivetta is actually better against lefties than he is righties. And I think Teoscar is going to heat up soon because he's been pretty cold for a little too long. So those will be my 2 home run picks against Pivetta. Now, when it comes to Dustin May, I think that Dustin May matches up very well against the Padres. So Dustin May is in the top 20 in ground ball percentage in all of Major League Baseball. The Padres have the 2nd highest ground ball percentage in all of baseball. So that means that Dustin May is going to keep the ball on the ground. Also, the Padres are very bad against sliders. Only Manny Machado and Bogarts are solid. Everybody else is very bad. Everybody else hits down in the low 200s or 100s against sliders. Tatis, Luis Ariz, Jackson Merrill, Cronenworth, all those guys are very bad against sliders. There are a solid team against sinkers. Guys like Manny Machado, Elias, Fernando Tatis, Jackson Merrill are all pretty good against sinkers, and they're a solid fastball hitting team. But like I said, very bad against sliders, and that, of course, is Dustin May's best pitch. They hit the ball on the ground a lot. Dustin May keeps the ball on the ground. So I think this is a very good matchup for Dustin May, and he has a good opportunity to pitch pretty deep into the game because he's going to have a lot of balls on the ground that are going to turn into outs. So I like the matchup for Dustin May. Dustin May has also faced the Padres throughout his career a lot. So a couple guys have taken him deep, Machado, Tatis. But for the most part, they don't have any gaudy numbers against Dustin May. They just have some familiarity against him. Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, 2 home run picks. I think Dustin May matches up very well against the Padres. Nick Pivetta is going to be a challenge for the Dodgers. He's been very good, but they're a good fastball hitting team, and the Dodgers are actually the best team in baseball against right-handed pitching. So I think they can get to Nick Pivetta. Hopefully the offense continues what it did on Sunday and not the 2 games prior to that. So we'll go to game 2. Dylan Cease will be pitching for the Padres. The Dodgers don't have a pitcher announced yet because of some of the injuries and everything that's going on. Not sure who's going to pitch. It might end up just being a bullpen game. But right now, we'll just talk about Dylan Cease. So Dylan Cease, it's been a different year for Dylan Cease. He's got an ERA of 4.72. So he has not pitched as great this year. Now, he does have an expected ERA of 3.66. So when you have guys like Dylan Cease who walk a lot of batters, if they have couple of starts that get unlucky with some bloopers, that can affect their ERA because he has base runners on from the walks. So he is a big time strikeout pitcher. He's in the 92nd percentile in whiff percentage, 85th percentile in K percentage. In 68 innings, he has 85 strikeouts. So he's a big-time strikeout pitcher who's got big-time stuff. Is actually a pitcher who throws his slider more often than his fastball. So he's got a 207 batting average against the slider. So he's got a very good slider. That also has a 43% whiff rate. So one of the best sliders in baseball. But his four-seam fastball, 292 batting average against. His fastball is much more hittable. And then his curveball has a 222 batting average against, but an expected batting average of 309. So the slider is a dominant pitch. The four-seamer is not as good. And then the curveball has actually been a little bit lucky pretty much is a 3-pitch pitcher. He also throws a changeup, but he doesn't really throw that very often. Dylan Cease. Now, the Dodgers have familiarity against Dylan Cease. He has a ton of strikeout against the Dodgers, like he does against everyone else. But Shohei Ohtani has 3 home runs against Dylan Cease in his career, as well as Kike and Mookie. Last year, the Dodgers in the postseason, and I also believe down the stretch when the Dodgers played them in late September, they hit Cease very well. Obviously, in the postseason game against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, Ohtani took him deep for that 3-run home run. They put up some runs against Cease, and then on a couple short days rest, Mookie Betts took him deep, and they were able to put 4 or 5 runs against him. So the Dodgers, as of late, have hit better against Dylan Cease and have put the ball in play more and have had a lot of better at-bats against him. Cease is a pretty neutral pitcher. Righties hit him 254, lefties hit him 250. Like I said, I would imagine he is very dominant. I would imagine it's a little bit harder for a right-handed hitter to hit him because of that nasty slider that he possesses. So guys like Mookie, Teoscar Hernandez are guys that could struggle against him because of that dominant slider. Now, guys like Will Smith and Andy Paez, even though they're right-handed hitters, do have better numbers against off-speed pitches and breaking balls, and especially Paez. So those are guys that are a pretty solid matchup. Obviously, Ohtani, he has a lot of history against Dylan Cease and has 3 home runs against him, like I said. Freddie Freeman, of course, a great fastball hitter. So what I like is that his fastball is hittable. In this game, I'm going with Will Smith, and I'm going with Max Muncy as my home run. So Max Muncy is hitting 308 versus sliders. And he also, of course, is a pretty good fastball hitter. Dylan Cease, his fastball is not good. So I'm thinking Max Muncy gets ahead in the count, gets a fastball out over the plate, and yanks it out to right field. Will Smith, I'm thinking he is a very good breaking ball hitter. Maybe Cease leaves a slider or a curveball out over the plate. Will Smith hits it out, and that's the game plan against Cease. So what I also like is that Cease walks a lot of batters. The Dodgers are a patient team, so there should be some traffic against Dylan Cease. It's all going to depend on, can they get that big hit with runners in scoring position and come through against Cease, because Cease is going to be striking guys out. And if the Dodgers chase that slider or strike out with runners in scoring position, Dylan Cease is going to not necessarily pitch deep into the game, but he's going to have a lot of strikeouts through 4 or 5 innings. So I think the Dodgers can hit Cease, and I think that they'll have a pretty good approach against him, especially because last year they seemed to get a little bit more comfortable against him, and Cease has not been very good this year. He's seemed to regressed a little bit. Like I said, he's got an ERA of 4.72, so it will be a tough matchup against Cease, but the Dodgers have seen him a lot. Obviously, there's nothing to talk about from the Padres lineup because we don't know who's pitching. Again, I can give you some of the breakdown of the Padres. So their best hitters against four-seam fastballs are, of course, Tatis, Machado, Luis Ariz, and then Gavin Sheets has actually been a breakout player for them, former White Sox. Tatis has always been a guy who's hammered fastballs, but I was actually surprised to know that he's not really good against much. He's not really good against much else. He's very bad against the slider. He's not great against curveballs. Tatis has actually struggled as of late. He got off to an MVP kind of season, and then Jackson Merrill, who had the great rookie season last year, also got off to a great start. They have both struggled as of late. So some of their hitters are coming into this series kind of cold, as well as Luis Ariz. But the hottest hitter on the Padres coming into the series is, of course, Manny Machado, who always plays well against the Dodgers. But other than that, they kind of have somewhat of a thin lineup. They have Tatis, Ariz at the top. Machado hits third, Jackson Merrill in the 4 spot, Gavin Sheets, a breakout player. But then after that, Xander Bogaerts, who just has aged so quickly since he's put on a Padres uniform, he's been very bad this year. He has about a 85 weighted runs created plus. Jake Cronenworth has actually been solid for the Padres this year in the 7th spot, but then a couple of their injuries has Tyler Wade, former Yankee, playing left field. He's very bad. And then Elias Diaz, who's a catcher, He's been very bad as well. He's in the 9 spot. Of course, like guys off the bench, Jose Iglesias, Martin Maldonado, Luis Campusano. So, like I said, offensively, they're a little thin. Obviously, a little bit top heavy with guys like Machado and Merrill and Tatis. But a couple of those guys are cold. But of course, we all know that Tatis, Machado, those guys are always great against the Dodgers, especially Tatis and Machado. They kind of kill the Dodgers. We'll go to Game 3, the last game of the series. That will be Justin Robleski against Randy Vasquez. So, Robleski will come up and make another start. He looked solid against the Cardinals. Of course, with all the injuries, the Dodgers are kind of left to have him. So we'll break down Randy Vasquez really quickly. So, Randy Vasquez, I believe, was in the Juan Soto trade, if I'm not mistaken. From the Yankees to the Padres. Soto going to the Yankees, of course. So Randy Vasquez has an ERA of 3.69 on the year, but is due for a blow-up, I believe. Because if you look at all his numbers, they all show that he is not a very good pitcher. So like I said, 3.69 ERA, but he has an expected ERA of 5.82. He's in the third percentile in whiff percentage in 2 percentile of K percentage. So if you're looking at Baseball Savant, everything is blue and towards the bottom. He gets no chase, no whiffs, no strikeouts, and he walks batters. All a recipe to get hammered. When you look at his individual pitches, he has a batting average against of 319 on his cutter. He does have a decent four-seam fastball at 241 batting average. His sinker has an expected batting average of 279, curveball 267, changeup 333. Also is better against righties, a 203 batting average, but lefties hit him pretty well at 287. Like I said, he throws a lot of fastballs, 28% cutter, 18% four-seamer, 18% sinker. He also throws a curveball and a sweeper and a changeup. So he throws a lot of pitches. But like I said, he's not great against left-handed hitters. So against Randy Vasquez, I'm going to pick Tommy Edman, and I'm going to pick Hae-Sung Kim. Yes, my first Hae-Sung Kim prediction. I believe he'll be in the lineup. He's been he's been very good so far to start his career. Got a little bit more playing time against the Cardinals. I believe he is starting to prove to the Dodgers he should be in the lineup, at the very least against right-handed pitching. I'm picking Hae-Sung Kim to go deep against Vasquez, and I am picking Tommy Edman to also go deep. Haven't picked Tommy Edman in a while. He was banged up for a little while and has struggled, but he played much better this weekend against the Cardinals, and I believe he will begin to heat up. Normally, I pick Tommy Edman from the right side as a switch hitter because he's better from the right side. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on how they match up specifically. I like the Dustin May matchup. Pivetta is going to be tough, but I think they can get to Cease, and I think they can definitely and will get to Vasquez. Hopefully, Robleski, whoever pitches on Tuesday, guys like that just don't blow up. Just keep the Dodgers in the game. Key to this series, I believe, because I think that the Dodgers will be able to put some runs together. But if the pitching just blows up and doesn't allow the Dodgers offense to stay in the game, it's going to be tough, especially against the Padres' very good bullpen. For the Dodgers to definitely win this series, because they have a one-game lead, you'd like to just see them win the series so they can at least have a two-game lead coming out of San Diego. This is going to be a good series, though, especially that it's in Petco. The Padres the last couple of years have played the Dodgers very well. Dodgers always had a mental advantage over the Padres. I always believed that. And then I think it switched in 2022 when the Dodgers, of course, lost to the Padres. The Padres then played the Dodgers very well every time they would play them. Last year, the Dodgers definitely got them back. They got their momentum against the Padres back. They got their swagger back, all of that. And it's going to be interesting to see this series because you know the Padres are going to come in there ready to play, amped up. The crowd's going to be going crazy. I'm curious to see how the Dodgers will approach it. I would like to see the Dodgers kind of match that energy from the Padres. The Dodgers tend to be very businesslike during the regular season, which I understand having that approach of can't get too high, can't get too low. It's the regular season. And of course, the Dodgers are the reigning champs. So you're going to believe in the approach that they have. But a lot of times the Padres get so up to play the Dodgers that it's like the Dodgers can't match that. And it will lead to a couple of late inning comebacks for the Padres. They never seem out of it, or they explode early in the game, and then the Dodgers fall behind. Really would like to see the Dodgers play well in this series and make a statement. It's obviously the first time they're playing the Dodgers or the Padres or the Giants. They play the Giants next weekend or this weekend, so it should be a very good series. I'm really excited to see it. I think the Dodgers are going to get hot soon, and I think it'll start with this series. So, as always, thank you guys for listening. Get this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on social media at Talking Blue Pod. You can follow myself at Talking Blue Nick. I'll be tweeting throughout these games. I'm going to have some new stuff coming out soon. Excited to review this series on Wednesday night. So, thank you guys for listening. We will see you guys to review this series on Wednesday night.